you take a glance around the league. There's really not too many teams who the future outlook looks very bleak on. That's not always been the case. I remember a few years ago, it was like the Pacers. The Pacers were always in this weird zone where it was like, you're not good enough to like really compete, but you're not bad enough to be bad. The Magic were always in that tier. And it was like, where the hell, what's the direction? But it now feels like every team has a decent direction. So we're going to look at all of them. And here's our tiers, just to go over. Contending forever. I mean, you could probably guess who's going to be here. These are teams that are competing for championships now, and they will probably be competing for championships 40 years from now. They're just well-run organizations. Now or never. These are teams that have decent rosters now, but if they don't win soon, they're in some deep jeopardy. Let's pray for the best. These are teams that are on the cusp of contending, but they need some things to go their way, and there's maybe not too many pathways for that to happen, so you just need a lot of things to go their way. Promising rebuilds, I mean, we know who will be here, right? We know who will be there. Danger zone. These are teams that need to, one way or another, they need to figure out a direction before it's too late and they're stuck in mediocrity. Or these are contending teams that are maybe not quite there and they're getting older. I mean, you could probably guess who's going to be in a tier like this. And then, hell, these are teams that I don't really see the direction for. Again, I don't even know if there's going to be a team in this tier. I don't even know if there's going to be a team in this tier. But let's go ahead and start with the Hawks. We're putting let's pray for the best. I think they have solid pieces. 2 years ago, they were in the Eastern Conference Finals. You guys know how I feel about Trae Young, right? You guys know how I feel about Trae Young. Controversial, right? But DeJounte Murray, great get for them. Great pairing. Do I think that that's a contending team? Championship contenders? Not really. They still got some young players, too. Like DeAndre Hunter can continue to develop. I mean, Trae can continue to develop. DeJounte Murray can continue to develop. He's young. They have some rookies, like Sharif Cooper. But, there's a Okongwu can develop. There's some promise there. But in order to really, I think, reach this top tier, they got to have a lot of things go their way, which is why I'm putting them here and let's pray for the best. Celtics. You guys think Tatum is a lifer? Sorry, will you rank them within their tiers? We'll see. You guys think Tatum is a lifer? If you think Tatum is a lifer, I think you throw them in the contending forever tier because they're great now. And you have a great young superstar. And they are a pretty well-run organization. But if you think Tatum is out the door sometime soon, then I'm kind of putting them in now or never. They've sort of sold their soul a little bit. They traded a 2023 first for Malcolm Brogdon. That's a good trade. Like, that's a great trade. They traded a 2027 first or whatever it was for Derek White. That could low-key be one of those moves where the 2027 draft comes around and the Spurs have a high pick. You're like, wait, how the hell Derek White? Like, how the hell did they get that trade? How the hell did they get that pick? If you think that Tatum is a lifer, they're in the contending forever tier. But if you think that Tatum is not a lifer, it kind of does feel now or never. That seems a little extreme though to me. We got Jalen and Jason come on now. Well, that's what I'm saying. If you think those two guys will sign extensions and play with the Celtics forever, yes, I do believe that they are in contending forever. Because also they are a well-run organization. But also, if they leave, I mean, what young players right now outside of the two J's are there on the Celtics where you're like, hell yeah, like we're good? I'm putting them in the now or never tier. We can move them. Let's see. Tatum is overrated. Basketball IQ is low. Only thing holding him back. I mean, he was just the best player on a team 2 wins away from winning the finals. Like, let's take it a little bit easy on the Tatum slander, okay? Let's take it a little bit easy. Brooklyn Nets. I don't want to put them in hell. They're definitely in the danger zone, though. They're definitely in the danger zone. They don't, they traded most of their picks in the Harden trade. They traded a first for Royce O'Neal. That trade was a little bit bizarre to me, to be honest with you. You have Ben Simmons. There's still some hope there. You still have Kyrie and Kevin Durant under contract. Kevin Durant for 4 years. So there's a scenario where Kevin Durant says, hey guys, I don't know what the fuck got into me. I'm sorry. I'm cool. I'm going to play. I'm going to suck it up. And you're going to be a contending team. But, man, if you end up trading Kevin Durant and Kyrie and the return is not great, yeah, you're going to be in some deep trouble. You're going to be in some deep trouble, especially if you trade. Think about it. If you trade them to the Suns or something, you're getting Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson back in return. those aren't promising rebuilding pieces. I love Mikal Bridges. Cam Johnson's okay. But, like, you know, you're not building a franchise around Mikal Bridges. And then you're getting Suns picks, which are going to be terrible picks, like late 20s for the foreseeable future. I'm putting them in danger zone. And the only hope for them is Kevin Durant and Kyrie come back. For sure. Mavs fans sometimes really feel they need to put down Tatum to prove Luka's better. Yeah, Mavs fans do that 1,000%. Bulls. I'm going to be real with you for a second. I'm thinking I'm putting Bulls in the danger zone. But there's a scenario where I could see them being in hell. The only reason why I won't put them in hell is because they're a good team. And if Patrick Williams takes a big leap forward and Lonzo comes back and he's, you know, the knee is not as big of an issue as we thought it might have been, then, you know, the Bulls will be pretty solid. Like, they'll be a good team. But the Vucevic trade was a disaster. Vucevic trade was a horrible mistake in retrospect. Wendell Carter is maybe the best contract in the NBA currently. Franz Wagner, who the Magic got with that Bulls pick, looks like a great player. Going to be a great player for a long time. You got DeMar, who I would be shocked if we saw DeMar play as well as he did this past season again. You know, he's still going to be a great player. You just brought back Zach LaVine. That's nice. This one's hard. What do you guys think? I'm thinking danger zone is a good one. And if things go south, like if Patrick Williams doesn't take a step forward, then they might be in that hell tier where it's like, yeah, we're okay, we're solid, but like we're 1, 2, 3 pieces away, and like, you know, our best young talent, Patrick Williams, isn't panning out. Like, that's the worst case scenario for them. But they're still a solid enough team that I'll put them in the danger zone and not hell. Clippers, now or never, right? I wouldn't put them in contending forever because they're young talent. Well, like solid, you know, role players. They're young talent, but it's not like any of those guys are fit to lead the franchise when Kawhi or Paul George start to regress or anything, which will be sooner rather than later, I guess. You know, Kawhi is, how old is Kawhi now? Kawhi is 31, just turned 31. I mean, that's not too old, right? But we know his injury history. Paul George is 32. He just turned 32 years old, and we know his injury history. So I can't put them in contending forever, but it's definitely now or never for the Clippers, I feel like. And it's very good chance this year. Very good chance this year. I love this Clippers team. They're really fucking good. And they also don't have too many assets. Like, they don't have too many trade assets or anything. So it is definitely now or never for the Clippers. Hornets are definitely in hell. I have no idea what they do. I mean, I have no idea what they do. Their best case scenario, and this sucks to say, but their best case scenario is something, knock on glass, because you don't want to say this, but for some reason they are just complete and total ass this year. I'm being dead serious when I say that is their best case scenario, and they can tank and they can get some some high-end talent at the top of the draft next year, because I feel like they're in this terrible spot, and Miles Bridges being a piece of shit fucked them over. Like, Miles Bridges being an absolute piece of shit really fucked them over. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you're going to lose him for nothing now, right? He might go, God knows when he's even going to play again, if he does. He was their second best player easily. What up, Pat? Salute. You lose him for nothing. LaMelo Ball is in that category where he's too, you know, I don't know, he's not good enough yet to like carry your team where you're as long as you got LaMelo on your team, you're a contender. He's not there right now, but he's also too good for you to be absolute trash. Like, they're in a very weird spot. How many, like, PJ Washington is about to be a free agent? What happens there? I mean, Gordon Hayward hurt all the time. Big contract. They're just not in a good spot. And maybe this is a little, like, recency bias because their offseason has been so terrible. Like, it's just been horrible for them. But, hey, it is what it is, man. Yeah, Montrezl Harrell. I mean, it's not like Montrezl Harrell's a big... Not like Montrezl Harrell at this point is like a huge piece on a contender or even like a future piece. I mean, he's just kind of one of those guys at this point. Cavaliers. Is it disrespectful to put them in promising rebuilds? I mean, they didn't make the playoffs last year technically, so I feel like this is fair. They got a great young core. Love Darius Garland. He'll lead the league in assists someday. Mobley looks fantastic. Generational defensive player, maybe. Good offensive talent. Jared Allen, great pickup. Isaac Okoro, I'm expecting a breakout. I feel like they belong in promising rebuilds. Even though they were good this year and I expect them to be good this year, I don't think the rebuild is complete. There it is. I don't think the rebuild is complete. How about that? Tatum got 41 playoff wins at 24, and people out here saying Wiggins better than him. Yeah, the Tatum disrespect has gone way too far. I agree with you 1,000%. Like, Tatum's in one of these weird spaces where it's like, would it have been more beneficial if he didn't even make the finals? Because, yeah, he had some bad performances in the finals, but he was in the finals. He got there. And it's like people would put more respect on his name if he didn't even make the finals. That's how it is with LeBron sometimes, where it's like, when people bring up LeBron's losses in the finals, it's like, would it be better if he just didn't even make it? Like, if LeBron was 3-0 in the finals, or 4-0, that probably looks better to some people, like LeBron haters, than whatever it is now. What is it, 4-5? Some people think that way. Nuggets. I think I'm putting the Nuggets in contending forever. I think they're my first team in contending forever. Jokic just signed an extension. Jamal Murray is still pretty young. I mean, Michael Porter Jr., who knows what's going on with that back, but he's still young. I mean, that contract might be terrible, but they've been very well run recently. I like a lot of moves they made. Bones Highland looks great. I think that they belong in contending forever. I really do. I think that they are going to constantly. Injuries, let's pray for the best. I mean, you could say that about any team, though. The injury, I'm mainly doing it for Jokic. My shirt says MILF. Get your head out of the gutter. Doesn't mean that. Man, I love Funeral by Phoebe Bridgers. Okay? No, the Nuggets aren't in the danger zone. They belong in contending forever. I'm a believer in them. I love Jokic. I'm a believer in Jamal Murray. I'll put some faith in Michael Porter Jr. And I like a lot of moves they've made. So this is where they belong. Maybe a little bit controversial, but that's fine. I feel like this is the perfect number of tiers, by the way. I think we got it all figured out. Rockets, promising rebuild for sure. Like what they've done. I like the Jabari Smith pick. I think it'll work. I like Jalen Green a lot as time goes on and we get closer to the season. I'm really expecting big things. Kevin Porter, I'm a little bit uncertain of, at least in the role that they're trying to give him. You know, Eason looks like a really good player. Ty Washington, we'll see. Those guys had good summer leagues. Jayshawn Tate is what, 27? He's like 27, but. And who else is young? I mean, Josh Christopher. They got a ton of young talent on this team. They got draft assets. I mean, they're going to be in a position at some point to make a move on a superstar with all of the stuff they have. So I'm putting the Rockets here. They got a great promising rebuild. Obviously, that goes without saying. Lakers. You know, it's hard for me to do this. A team that has LeBron and Anthony Davis, but I actually am putting them in hell. I'm putting them in hell. I think that they are in a brutal, brutal spot. But what's their pick situation? What is their pick situation in the future? They got a pick swap here to New Orleans, unless New Orleans defers and receives LA's 2025 first round pick. So they don't own their 2024 pick. So they'll be picking in every single first round except 2024 or 2025. So that's not as bad as I thought. But that's the reason why they can't trade a pick until 2027, because New Orleans can take their 2025 first round pick. But, oh man, like, what is their future? I'm definitely putting them in hell. I don't see them winning a championship next year at all. Even if they get Kyrie, I'm not like, oh, they're winning now. Like they are. I like a lot of moves they made. Damian Jones on a minimum. That's a good value contract. Lonnie Walker. Okay, that's cool. Thomas Bryant on the minimum. All right, that's a pretty good value contract. Juan Toscano Anderson on the minimum. All right, that's pretty solid. Who else did they get? Who else did they get? Who was the other guy they got? Who was the dude they got from the... Fuck, man. Who was the dude they got from the Wizards? Or no, not the Wizards, the Bulls. I kind of like... Oh, Troy Brown. I like that pickup. There's some upside there, I guess. But outside of that, like your big young player is Talon Horton-Tucker. Austin Reeves. Ugh. Yucky. The Russell Westbrook situation is disgusting. LeBron, I mean, I feel like he is reaching a point where he's not able to put an entire franchise on his back over the course of a full season. We've seen that. Anthony Davis did not look good last year, was injured. Okay, pray to God he's back. I saw Kendrick Perkins sit on Twitter say that Anthony Davis is going to win the MVP next year. He started the clip by saying, we can all agree that Anthony Davis is a top 5 player. I'm like, what? We can all agree on that? I don't think so. Not me. But they belong in the hell tier. It can be fixed. They can rip the Band-Aid off and say, listen, LeBron, we don't see an avenue. We're trading you. Listen, AD, we're trading you. And we're getting a huge haul in return. But they're in the hell tier. Bucks contending forever. Giannis has that extension. Yeah, their team is getting older, so part of me would say now or never, but they have been pretty well run. Chris Middleton is also a free agent at the end of the season. You know, that's interesting. Do they belong in now or never or contending forever? If I'm putting the Nuggets in contending forever, I feel like I have to put the Bucks just because similar situations with their superstars signing max extensions and staying there. So I feel like this is fair. I would say danger zone, to be honest. If they go through the year injury free, they will make the playoffs. Talking about the Lakers, the thing is look, making the playoffs is one thing. Teams need to have championship aspirations. It's difficult to see a pathway for the Lakers to win a championship now or in the future, unless they just get incredibly lucky. You know, unless they get Kyrie for pennies on the dollar, and Kyrie comes in, he's locked in, he's focused, he's ready to go. You get the best version of him. Then maybe. And even then, I'm not entirely sure that team is winning a championship. I don't know. Heat, I'm putting like towards the top of contending forever. The only reason I'm doing it, it's like I look at their core. Jimmy's getting older. The Kyle Lowry contract already looks bad. How are Celtics now or never? They're mostly young. I guess I'm just not as big of a believer in Tatum as I am in Jokic and Giannis. And we agreed that we're not sure Tatum is a lifer. That was our belief. We're not entirely sure Tatum is a lifer. Whereas Jokic and Giannis, they look like they're probably lifers. The reason why I'm putting the Heat in contending forever is because they're probably behind Golden State, the best run organization. Like they just bring in talent, they attract talent, they draft incredibly well, they player develop incredibly well. I know Jimmy Butler's getting older. I don't even know if Jimmy Butler can really lead a team to a championship, but you still got Bam. You got a lot of young players, and again, you are constantly a destination. People always want to go to you. You have built a very nice culture. It attracts top end talent. You're gonna be good forever. Like that's just, it feels like the Heat will be good for the rest of my fucking life. It's not fair how well they draft. It's not fair how well they develop players. But they got to be up there. Spoelstra is a great coach, and he's still not even like Spoelstra's been the coach for over a decade now. And how old is he? How old is Eric Spoelstra? He's 51. So I mean, there's a world where Spoelstra's coaching for another like decade, 2 decades. Insane. I doubt that happens. But you never know. It's a possibility. Oh, here we go. Mavericks. I don't see Luka winning more than 2 rings with Dallas. I would take 2 rings. We winning forever with Luka? Contending forever with Luka? Mavs aren't in a position to continue yet, so how are they now or never? Contending forever? I'm not putting them in danger zone. Like, if I'm putting the Hawks and let's pray for the best, I think I got to put the Mavs there too. you know, if things go right for the Mavs, they can win a championship. They can. If Christian Wood comes in, he's locked in. He's buying in defensively. We see an untapped Christian Wood defensively. We didn't even know he had it in him. And offensively, he's locked in, puts up all-star numbers. Dinwiddie looks like how he was in Brooklyn. Luka, you know, is doing Luka things. His conditioning is good. For sure. For sure they can win it all. And also, I don't know, maybe Josh Green develops a little bit. Okay. It's a little too far. But you guys get what I'm saying. I can't put them in anything else. You have Luka on your team. Like, I can't put you have Luka on your team for the next 5 years under contract. So, you know, I can't put you on, like, danger zone because you're not in the danger zone. I can't put you in hell, obviously. But I can't put you in now or never. I don't think the pressure's on. I can't. The Celtics don't make sense here. The Celtics don't make sense in now or never. Where do we put them? Do we put them in contending forever? Or do we put them in let's pray for the best? Like, the Celtics don't make sense in now or never. Clippers definitely belong in now or never. Like 1,000%. I think I'll put them in contending forever. I mean, they just made the finals. They just made the finals. Udoka is a young coach. Looked good in his first year. You got two still young players as your best two players, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. We'll put them in contending forever. Because how much longer does Tatum have on his contract? That was a little. I don't know why I put them there. Didn't make much sense. I guess I'm just convinced for some reason that Tatum will leave. I think it's only because I was listening to the Bill Simmons podcast recently, and they're like, "Yeah, Tatum has. I'm getting the fuck out of here," written all over him. Oh my God, he's got 4 more years left on his contract. All right. Last year, a player option. Yeah, they added Brogdon. Like, they're definitely contenders right now. Yeah, that's fine. All right, Pelicans. I'm still putting them in promising rebuild. I don't think they're there just yet. They could be. That's why maybe you could put them in let's pray for the best, but I'm putting them in promising rebuild. Zion, Brandon Ingram, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy. It's a pretty damn good team, man. It's a pretty damn good team. Pretty good young core. Let's see how it all works out. Promising rebuilds. They're title contenders now? I can't go that far. I just don't see like their defense being that good. You got to be a top 10, probably even better than that defense to really be a title contender. I don't know if I see a pathway there just yet. Knicks. Oh. Where did the Knicks go? I kind of like the direction for the Knicks, actually. I don't know if I'd put it on promising rebuilds. I'm kind of leaning towards let's pray for the best. No, I'm not putting them in the danger zone. I don't think they're in it. I don't think they're in the danger zone. Should I put them in promising rebuilds? Like, they're still a young team. I know they got older players like Julius Randle. They just signed Brunson. They got Derrick Rose still. Fournier. Yeah, it does depend on Donovan Mitchell, but they got like 9 picks over the next 7 years. They got a ton of young talent. Quentin Grimes, McBride, Quickly, RJ Barrett's still young. I mean, Mitchell Robinson's still kind of young. You got Toppin. Pray for the best. That's actually kind of what I'm thinking. I'm going to say it right now, y'all overrating the Clippers. I don't give a fuck. Mavs took them to 7 with Boban as the starting center. That's Luka Doncic, ladies and gentlemen. I just can't see them ever winning a chip. Well, not right now, but... Oh, this one's kind of hard. I'm going to put them in and let's pray for the best. I'm going to put them in let's pray for the best. No, I'm putting them in promising rebuilds. If they get Donovan Mitchell, I'll move them up. I'll move them up to let's pray for the best because you're going to have to pray at that point if you give up as many picks as the Jazz are asking for. So I'm putting them right here. This song is a little too much for me. This song's a little too much. I can't live with the Knicks and Hawks in our tier. The Hawks and Mavs are in very similar spots. OKC, promising rebuild. Don't need to say much about that, right? They got to consolidate their assets at some point. They have to consolidate their assets. At some point, they got to figure out what it is they want to do, what player they want to target, and they need to go after it. Because right now, you've already done a pretty decent job drafting. Like, you got 6, 7 young guys who look promising, and you still have an obscene amount of picks in the future. You have to do something with those picks at some point. It's going to be sooner rather than later. It has to be sooner rather than later because you're going to be pretty good. I think you have an outside chance, if everything goes right, of being right in the play-in mix this upcoming season. I feel like Presti is like drooling over a guy like Wembanyama, like just drooling over him. Think about all the players that like Chet, fucking Poku, like they would love him, but I just don't think they're going to be bad enough. I don't think they're going to be bad enough unless it's one of the most shameless tank jobs you've ever seen. Tyler, I understand how good Trey is, and I see him the exact same way you do, but I think you're overrating the Hawks so much. I think they are a playing team at best. Dude, they made the conference finals 2 years ago, unless you think that's a total fluke, which some people do. But they also just added DeJounte Murray. You know, Clint Capella will be healthy the whole year. They're definitely a let's pray for best team, for sure. Magic, promising rebuild as well. Tons of young talent. Just like the Thunder, I think that they really have an outside shot. You guys remember my bold prediction. Pistons. Let's just throw the Pistons in here as well. We'll wait till we get there. Pistons, Magic, and Thunder. One of those teams will be in the play-in. Like, that's my bold prediction. So they got a lot of young talent. Love Franz Wagner, Wendell Carter. Fantastic contract. Fantastic trade. Suggs. We'll see. Paulo Banchero. Woo! They're going to be nice. Wait, Pelicans, let's pray for the best. I feel like the order of these are a little bit weird. Like, Pelicans are still in their rebuilding phase to me. Actually, let's move the Pelicans up. You guys are right. You guys are 1,000% right. Let's move the Pelicans up a tier. They're more ready, I think, than these teams. They're more ready than these teams. And I think you could maybe put the Cavs up here. Trailblazers. I like what the Trailblazers have done a lot, actually. You got Dame still. I like the Jeremy Grant trade. You really didn't give up much. Anthony Simons, great player to have. Especially considering how young he is. You just extended him. You got some other interesting young talent like Nasir Little and stuff. Huh. You guys know that my bold prediction was... Well, my bold prediction was the Trailblazers could be a top 5 seed, but then I said, you know what? Fuck it. They're going to be a top 5 seed. Yeah, I might walk that back a little bit. Are they a pray for the best team? I was kind of thinking about putting them in the danger zone just because you're in a very weird spot with Damian Lillard getting older, and you just gave him an obscene amount of money. Like, his contract is crazy. If Dame comes back from his injury and doesn't look like the Dame of old, even though I've seen Blazers people on Twitter and in podcasts say that from what they've heard from the Blazers organization, Dame's going to be in insane shape and going to have a crazy year. This one is very hard for me. This one is very difficult for me. Can I skip? Can I skip this one? Pacers. Huh, where did the Pacers go, actually? Promising rebuild? I think promising rebuild is fine for the Pacers. You guys know I love me some Tyrese Halliburton. They're going to be bad. Like, they're going to be terrible this upcoming season. Mathurin looks pretty good. If I mispronounce rookies' names, I'm sorry. But he looks solid in Summer League. I'll put them in promising rebuilds. I like what they got going on. It would have been nice if they got Ayton. But again, I said at the time, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if Ayton... It doesn't matter if they got Ayton or not because they're going to be terrible next year anyway. Promising rebuild. Sacramento Kings. This is a tough one. That Fox contract has potential to be terrible. I'm still a believer in him. But they got potential. That contract has potential to be trash. For sure. Kings in danger zone. That's kind of what I'm leaning. But I mean, Keegan Murray has looked so good that there's still a promising future. I like Davion Mitchell. I really wish they didn't trade Tyrese Halliburton. I really wish they didn't. Mediocre rebuilds and promising rebuilds. I'll put them in the danger zone just because I do think their rebuild has been kind of mediocre. And I don't know what the ceiling is currently. At least for these teams right here, I can be like, okay, like there's still the mystery. Like maybe that's not fair to the Kings, but there's still the mystery with the Pacers where it's like, oh my God, they're going to be so trash. Maybe they get the #1 overall pick and they get Wembanyama and they pair that with Halliburton. That would be disgusting. And who knows? But for the Kings, it's like, you're going to be solid. You'll probably, and you should, be a play-in team. But beyond that, what's the future really? Like, if De'Aaron Fox comes back and has a really solid season, has the breakout season everyone's been expecting, Sabonis fits like a glove, Keegan Murray carries over what he did in the summer league to the regular season, you're going to be pretty good. And the future will look kind of bright. I'll just put them right here for the time being. Detroit, promising rebuild for sure. Love their rebuild. It's great. It's fantastic. Cade Cunningham, great. Jaden Ivey, great pick. Duran, great pick. Sadiq Bey just dropped 50 points. You don't drop 50 points unless you're a talented player. Sadiq Bey, I know there were some interesting big scoring games this past season, but Sadiq Bey is a good player. The Mavs roster with Brunson, where would you put it at? I don't know. Probably right here. How does this guy have Denver so far up there? Hive mind? How is this hive mind? Everybody shit on me for putting Denver up here, so let me tell you, it's not hive mind. I'm a big Jokic believer. I've been a Denver supporter. I've picked Denver as a dark horse team for years, but if they're healthy, I don't even think they're a dark horse team. Like, they're going to be good. They're not even dark horse. Mavs tier 1, you just made the Western Conference Finals and you have arguably the best player. Can't be the same tier as the Hawks. The Hawks made the conference finals 2 years ago. They're in pretty similar spots. Suns. Oh, Suns are now or never. I'll put the Suns in now or never. Definitely. It's nice that they brought back Ayton, but Chris Paul is just getting older, and when he's done, Booker and Ayton as your best two players, Booker, Ayton, and Bridges. That's a good trio, but I don't know if your championship window stays open. Now, I will say the fact that Kevin Durant wants to play with Booker, that means something. Even if they end up not getting KD, it's nice to know that players are interested in playing with Booker, so much so that they will demand trades in order to make it happen. Please put the fucking Mavs in now or never, but I don't think it's now or never for the Mavs. I think it's now or never for the Clippers. I think it's now or never for the Suns. But the Hawks barely made the playoffs every year, and Luka is much better than Trey. I think you guys are getting too caught up in the order of the tiers, okay? I really do. You guys are getting a little too caught up in, like, the order of the tiers here. Nuggets best player by miles is Jokic. Murray wouldn't have done anything to put them over Golden State. What did you watch? They were without Jamal Murray. They were without Michael Porter. They brought in Bruce Brown. They brought in Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. They're going to be a good team. Exactly. This is not a power ranking. I guess you could think of it, let's pray for the best over now or never. I wouldn't even say that. They're just different tiers. Now or never is you have an older team. Like, if you don't win now, your championship window will shut in the foreseeable future. Contending forever. You have a very well-run organization. You will probably be contending for the foreseeable future as long as your superstar stays Pray for the best. You got a good team, but you need a lot of things to go your way. That's these teams. Promising rebuild. You're just not there just yet, but you're close. Spurs. Where the hell do I even put the Spurs? Promising rebuild? Can I even say that? Like, they haven't even really started it. I kind of feel like I should put the Spurs on Let's Pray for the Best. Just because... Or maybe Danger Zone? I can't put them in promising rebuilds because it's really not there yet. Like, I have to see them get a top-end draft talent like these other teams have on their team in order for me to really be like, hell yeah, promising rebuild. They're close. Right now, they have Josh Primo, Devin Vassell. I like. But like they just gave Keldon Johnson a big contract extension. Okay, that's interesting. I feel like you're honestly you're praying for the best in your rebuild. Like, you're praying you get a top 3 pick in the upcoming draft. I'll put them in danger zone. I will, just because I need to see it happen. Like, if the Spurs get fucked in the lottery next year and get like the 6th overall pick, it's gonna be a long time before they're like competitive again. But if they can get Wembanyama, yeah, they shoot right up. I like a lot of the young players they have as role players. Like, if Spurs fans think Devin Vassell, I have seen this. Spurs fans think Devin Vassell has a ceiling of Kawhi Leonard. That's a little bit nuts, but hey, I like him. I just need to see it first. I need to see it play out. 76ers, now or never for sure. For sure, they're in the now or never tier. Embiid, getting older. Harden, getting older. I don't have faith in their organization the same way I do in the Nuggets for some reason. I don't love their roster as much as I love the Nuggets roster. You know, Tyrese Maxey being a young player, like, that's great. That's a huge hit for them. Huge hit. Like, that was a monumental get for them. I don't know what their team looks like if they didn't just smash the Tyrese Maxey pick. Raptors. Where did the Raptors go? I feel like they belong in Let's Pray for the Best too, right? They got a lot of young talent. They're still, like, they need things to go their way. And not just in the future. Like, they need Scotty Barnes to become a superstar level player. They need a player to... They need a player to demand to go there. They need to find another mercenary like Kawhi Leonard, where they have the solid roster put in place. They just need another star to put it over the top. I feel like they belong in Let's Pray for the Best. They did take Philly to the brink. Did they? I mean, they were down 3-0 in that series. Like, yeah, it was kind of funny. We were all laughing at Doc Rivers because, oh my God, he's going to choke this. But I wouldn't really say they took him to the brink that much. Like, they belong in Let's Pray for the Best. They really need Scotty Barnes to take the superstar leap, which I think he can. I think he will. But they need it to happen. If they don't, then they're going to be kind of in this weird spot where it's like, they're good, but they're just lacking another star. They belong right here. Like, Scotty Barnes will be much better as a second option that does everything well. That's possible too, which is kind of why they're right here. With the out of shape Harden and broken hand Embiid, no less. Yeah, true. Jazz, where do they go? I kind of feel like do I put them in the same tier as the Spurs? Because it's like we haven't seen it. They have Donovan. I'm putting them in danger zone, actually. I'm putting them in danger zone until I see the Donovan Mitchell trade, and then I'll pump them up to promising rebuilds because they'll just have so many picks. But I'm putting them in danger zone because if they don't find a trade for Donovan Mitchell and they bring Donovan Mitchell back, that's going to be fucking disgusting. I think they're going to trade Donovan Mitchell before the start of the season. But again, I need to see it first. That's why I'm putting them in the danger zone. The Gobert trade, fantastic. You got a first round pick for Royce O'Neal. That's insane. But let me see what happens with the Donovan Mitchell situation if they get 4, 5, 6 draft picks for that, and then a draft pick for Patrick Beverley, and then a draft pick for Jared Vanderbilt, and then a draft pick for Malik Beasley, and then a draft pick for Boyan. Yeah, I'll put them on promising rebuilds for sure. But for the time being, it's danger zone. I just got to see what's going on with the Donovan Mitchell situation. I need to see it play out. Same way I feel with the Spurs, where it's like, I need to see you get that top end young talent first before I put you in a promising rebuild. Warriors, obviously, put them at the top. Contending forever. They'll never stop being bad. They will spend billions of dollars on their luxury tax if they have to. They're never going to stop being bad. There's no point in even thinking they're going to stop being bad. The years that they were bad ended up being bad for the league. Like, we're all laughing when the Warriors are bad. Steph can't carry a team. He carried by Kevin Durant. And then they get Moody, they get Kuminga, they get Wiseman. Like, they get all these young players. And now the league is fucked. So they go in contending forever, obviously. Incredibly well-ran organization. One of the best run major sports in North America. Okay, I need to preface this because I said this last time. I don't remember what video it was, but I said the Warriors might be the best ran organization in major sports, and people are shitting on me saying, soccer, okay, I don't know. Don't know anything about soccer teams. But the Warriors, I mean, really don't need to go into it, right? Warriors spend the economy of a third world country on winning a chip. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they operate like the Premier League teams run by like oil tycoons. Washington is in hell. Part of me wants to put them in let's pray for the best because I see a scenario where they're kind of good, but I do agree, hell. Because the thing is, all the teams that let's pray for the best, when I'm saying pray for the best, there's like a championship ceiling. There's a championship ceiling for the Hawks. You guys won't admit it. That's fine. I will say it. There's a championship ceiling for the Mavs, right? There's a championship ceiling for the Pelicans eventually. There's a championship ceiling for the Raptors eventually. I don't see that for the Wizards. Like, I think there's a chance they could be okay, but that Beal contract is horrific. You got Porzingis there. That contract's not great, but it'll be expiring semi-soon. Kuzma, he's about to be a free agent. What's going on there? I'm definitely putting them in hell. I don't like the direction of their team, really. I don't like the direction of their team much, and it's just like, oh, that Beal contract makes me sick to my tummy. Grizzlies. Where do they go? Pray for the best. They're kind of in a similar spot here. They're kind of in a similar spot, right? Where they need some things to go their way. They're probably not a championship contending team as is, but I don't know. Maybe they are. Like, if John Morant takes another step, Desmond Bane takes another step, Zaire Williams takes another step, then yeah, for sure they'll be there. They're definitely let's pray for the best, but they got a bunch of young talent. There might be a time where it's time to consolidate that young talent. And where are they at draft-wise? They own Golden State's pick next year. Is that from the Iggy trade? Yeah, they're still incredibly young. I mean, you could maybe put them in contending forever, but the thing is am I too high on the Nuggets? Am I too high on the Nuggets? I was about to say, you could put them in contending forever because their young talent is fantastic, defensively, offensively, but we haven't really seen them put it all together in the playoffs. I have the Nuggets up here. The Nuggets are fine. You're right. Why am I fucking second guessing myself? Nuggets are exactly where they belong. I'm right. Timberwolves definitely belong, and let's pray for the best too. You went for it. I mean, you really, really went for it. The Timberwolves did. You got to give them some props. You absolutely have to give them some props. They went for it, and they got to pray for the best. Like, that's where they're at right now. They got to pray that it all comes together. I wouldn't put Wolves in now or never, and the reason is Cat is still relatively young, and also you have Anthony Edwards. Like, Anthony Edwards, I think, is going to be a superstar. It's not necessarily now or never, but we have to see how it all works out. The thing about the Sixers, Suns, and Clippers, it feels like their window will slam shut in a few years' time. Timberwolves, I just don't know right now. I could see the argument for putting them in now or never, though, because you don't have picks. Anthony Edwards is really the lone like young talent you're really hoping for the best for. I could see the argument for them being an now or never, but I'm putting them in let's pray for the best for the time being. Actually, you know what? I am bumping them up. That trade for Gobert was just so crazy. Like, you gave up everything. You gave up your entire future basically for it. You can't trade first round picks anymore. Minnesota Timberwolves, 2023 to Utah. 2024, they have their own, but again, they can only trade that on draft night of the 2024 draft. 2025 to Utah. 2026, own or Utah. 2027 to Utah. 2029, top 5 protected. The rest to Utah. Definitely feels now or never, actually, the more I think about it. And then Portland. Where do they belong? Because if it doesn't work out in Minnesota and the Gobert trade ends up being a disaster and you're not as good as you thought you were, then what the fuck happens? Will Anthony Edwards want to stay there? Will you trade Cat? Because if the Gobert trade doesn't work, given his contract, given his age, it's not like you can flip him for anything. Trailblazers do not belong in hell. Portland, danger zone or now or never? I don't know if I'd put them in now or never. Danger zone. Oh, Portland is tough. I'm kind of thinking pray for the best for Portland. But if it doesn't work out for Portland, I'm putting them in the danger zone. And let me explain why. If it doesn't work out for Portland, you have Damian Lillard on a very big contract. It's great that Damian Lillard wants to stay. I mean, that's a huge win for a small market team, especially for a small market team where the ownership situation is in limbo. It's kind of remarkable that they got Damian Lillard to commit long term, but that contract is kind of crazy. And if it ends up not working out, then you're gonna have Damian Lillard making fucking $60 million a year, and Jeremy Grant's a free agent at the end of the season. You just gave $100 million to Anthony Simons. What if that doesn't work out? Like, here's the Damian Lillard contract, and keep in mind he's coming off of a season where he missed pretty much the entire season. He's 32 years old right now. He is, 6'2". I mean, smaller guys, just look throughout the course of history. It's kind of rare. Obviously, Damian Lillard is a Hall of Fame level talent, top 75 player of all time. It's kind of rare for those smaller guys to have, like, really successful careers, like, in their late 30s. He'll be 32 this year, $42 million. 33, $45 million. 34, $48 million. 35, $58 million. So you're going to be paying a 36-year-old Damian Lillard $60 million. Whew. I think danger zone, because it's not much longer Dame can take them anymore. Yeah, I would say danger zone too. But that almost makes it feel like it could be now or never. The thing is it's like, I don't see a championship ceiling with this current Portland team. I can actually see a championship ceiling with the current Timberwolves team. I actually can. I can actually see a world where Anthony Edwards becomes a superstar. The Gobert and Towns pairing just really works. And you put him there. Mavs can be pushed down to danger zone 2 months in a season. Yeah, but they're right here. I like these tiers. I think I'm 100% correct. Contending forever. Warriors, do I need to explain that? Heat, do I need to explain that? Nuggets. That one is, you guys don't agree with that one, but you have Jokic, who just signed a Supermax. I really like Jamal Murray. Yeah, you do have some interesting young talent on your team. I think you're going to be okay. Bucks, do I need to explain that? They won the championship a year ago. Giannis is there. Seems like he's committed to being there. There's an argument that their big three is getting older. So what's the future after, Chris Middleton is a free agent in the offseason? Celtics. You guys bullied me into moving them up a tier, admittedly. But I'll put them there. They were just in the finals. Tatum, Brown, both young. Let's just assume Tatum's going to want to stay there. And if that's the case, then yeah, fair. Now or never. These teams, I don't see their windows lasting that long. Clippers, self-explanatory. They traded their soul for Paul George and basically Kawhi Leonard. Phoenix, Chris Paul is aging in dog years. Sixers, Embiid, Harden, not the youngest duo. I feel like that's self-explanatory. Although I will say, like, Tyrese Maxey, we'll see. I mean, the future is very bright for him. Minnesota Timberwolves, I don't love their placement here. But yeah, it does feel like, looking at some of the teams down here, it's like, okay, well, these teams have like solidified young superstars or a bunch of young talent. The Timberwolves are really going for it. So I'll put them here. And they just traded like pretty much their soul for Rudy Gobert. So we'll put them there. Let's pray for the best. These teams, they got really good young players. They just need some things to go their way, whether that's this upcoming season, they need some things to go their way to compete, or just development-wise, they really need some guys to develop and to take that next step. Hawks, self-explanatory. You guys don't agree with this one, but I mean, where the hell else would you put them? Mavs, they belong here. There's a world where the Mavs are really good for the foreseeable future, and a world where it's just a Luka Doncic show, which is still solid. Pelicans, yeah, I mean, Zion is healthy. Brandon Ingram is healthy. Herb Jones continues to develop. Yeah, like they can be really, really good. Raptors, they need Scotty Barnes to turn into a superstar. Grizzlies, they just need to continue to develop. Promising rebuilds. I mean, these are all self-explanatory. I like what all these teams have done. Whether it's, the Magic and Pistons and Rockets who have really great young cores. Thunder too. Or it's like the Knicks and the Thunder who have 1 trillion picks. Pacers. I'll put them here because I love Tyrese Halliburton. The Pacers there. Cavs, they could be up here, but I'm putting them in the promising rebuilds. They're still a little bit away. And danger zone. Nets, we got to see how this plays out with Kevin Durant. Bulls, I don't love the future outlook that much. Kings, same thing, kind of as the Bulls, where it's like, what's the ceiling? And I don't see like too much of a pathway to bring in a bunch of young talent in the future. Spurs, I got to see how this upcoming season goes. Jazz, I got to see how the Donovan Mitchell situation plays out. Portland, a little bit spooked out by that Dame contract. Don't know if you're a championship team right now. Don't see much of a pathway, especially if Damian Lillard isn't Damian Lillard coming off an injury. And hell, Charlotte Hornets, off-season from hell, disaster. Lakers, it's ugly and spooky. Wizards, Bradley Beal contract, puke.